Additional films inside Berlin. Photographed on 9th May, just as the unconditional surrender terms were being ratified in the German capital, the scenes show the emptiness and desolation of this once largest city on the continent. The Reichstag is bomb-scarred. Hardly a landmark escaped being hit during the Allied air attacks. The Sports Palace, scene of many Nazi rallies. Only the outer frames of buildings remain upright. Bomb blasts dumped floors into cellars and blew off the roofs of the structures. The Tiergarten Victory Column. About 2 million of the pre-war population of 4.5 million are now in the Berlin area. The French port of Saint-Nazaire. The German garrison in this resistance pocket surrendered 11th May, ending 5 years of occupation. In 1942, British commandos staged a daring raid on Saint-Nazaire. Dragon's Teeth adjoin the submarine pens. In a statement on the condition of surrendered ports, Supreme Headquarters lists Saint-Nazaire as partially blocked, but usable for coastal vessels. Inspection reveals extensive U-boat installations, but only one sub is found in relatively good condition. At IJmuiden, Holland, German minesweepers and other craft are used for shipping Nazi units from the Netherlands. On 25th May, the surrendered troops march aboard for the trip home under Royal Navy escort. All are searched for food and pilfered articles. While the evacuation via the North Sea is in progress, other Nazi elements follow the land route back to Germany. Canadian Provo units relieve the German soldiers of all items not listed as standard issue. The great causeway of the Zuider Zee is choked with men and horse-drawn vehicles beginning the trek eastward out of liberated Holland. At Flensburg, just below the Danish border, the Allies formally dissolved the acting German government headed by Grand Admiral Karl Dönitz. Numerous officers of the German High Command and the interim administration are arrested as prisoners of war on 23rd May. Among the more prominent Nazis seized under the Supreme Headquarters Directive are Admiral Dönitz, Colonel General Gustav Jodl, and Albert Speer, Minister of Economics and Production. Dönitz has been described as the self-styled successor to Hitler. Jodl was appointed chief of the German High Command last April. Speer coordinated industry with Wehrmacht requirements. Admiral von Friedeborg commits suicide by poison immediately after dissolution of the Dönitz government. The same day at Lüneburg, Germany, Heinrich Himmler also ends his life by taking poison. British troops captured the SS chief while trying to escape, wearing a disguise and carrying false papers. Himmler died by crushing and swallowing the contents of a small vial of poison which he had concealed in his mouth. The capital city of Oslo from the air following capitulation of the German forces that occupied Norway since June 1940. On 14th May, a British military party headed by Air Commodore Darrall arrives to accept the surrender of Nazi ground forces under Colonel Kaza. An interpreter announces that the German commander is ready to meet the British. Colonel Kaza steps forward and makes an attempt at a friendly meeting with Commodore Darrall. The capitulation proceeds with speed and formality. German garrison units, comprising approximately 250,000 troops, have been withdrawn from all cities and towns in Norway and moved to concentration points to await return to Germany. Cheering Norwegians greet the arrival of the British official party. A parade through the streets of Oslo marks the event. King Haakon and his government will return to Norway. In an Oslo court, Vidkun Quisling appears before Judge Gunnar Gulbrandsen at a preliminary hearing where he is charged with treason. The Nazi puppet premier of Norway and 6 of his cabinet members surrendered 9th May. On the 26th, he listens to the accusations brought by the Norwegian people. After the first proceedings, Quisling is returned to jail to await trial in a special court within the next 3 months. M4 floating bridge, designed to meet the Army's need for a bridge that could carry heavy tanks in the strongest currents. The pontons used in constructing the bridge are the longest that have ever been utilized. They are fabricated in the form of halves so they can be transported by truck. For the purpose of lightness, they're made of aluminum. Gunnels, also made of aluminum, have a hollow construction for strength and lightness. An important feature is that for the first time, the gunnels are removable. The gunnels are attached by means of hooks to either side of each half ponton. Locking levers hold them in place. After the removable gunnels are attached, the two half pontons are launched. The completely new types of ponton and gunnel permit much faster construction of floating bridges than heretofore possible. The bigger pontons provide for more flotation, which enables them to carry heavier loads. As soon as the two pontons are joined, they're made ready for the balk, which are fastened to the gunnel by means of pins. For the first time, balk are used as both stringer and flooring. The M4 floating bridge was originally designed for use in crossing the Rhine. The crossing was effected, however, before the bridge could be put into use. The balk are placed in position to form an overlapping pattern. It's this overlapping which gives the bridge its rigidity and strength. When the two end sections are in place at the bridge sites on both the near shore and the far shore, the gap between is filled. Either single pontons or rafts are assembled downstream and moved into position by powerboat. The balk for the connecting span are then put in position. The removable gunnels make rapid replacement of damaged pontons possible. Punctured by a log, this ponton must be replaced before the bridge can be used. By opening the locking levers, the ponton is quickly disengaged from the removable gunnels. The upstream end is already weighted down with water, so men add their weight to the downstream end, and the ponton is quickly worked out from under the bridge. As soon as the damaged ponton is out of the way, the new ponton is slipped into place. Again, it's weighted down so that it can be worked into position. The removable gunnels are fastened onto the ponton by closing the locking levers, and the bridge is once more ready for use. Additional information on the M4 floating bridge may be obtained from training films 5-1440, 41, and 42. Strafing and napalm bomb runs by 5th Air Force fighters support ground troops in the 11th Corps sector northeast of Manila. Machine gun fire is augmented by 105s as 38th Division Infantry pushes to a ridge close by the Marikina River. Japs must be blasted from fortified caves. Stiff resistance continues to be met on Luzon during the 6th Army's campaign to eliminate last-ditch defenders, including those holding the sources of Manila's water supply. 500 miles south on Upper Mindanao, machine guns cover the withdrawal of 8th Army troops pinned down by enemy fire in the Mangima Valley. Litter cases and the walking wounded are evacuated under fire. The drive in this sector is north of Male Bale, important air center and capital of Bukidnon province. Strong sniper nests hamper our medical corpsmen. A courier delivers a message from the command post while the wounded receive emergency treatment. A steady rain of sniper bullets forces our men to remain in prone positions. Moves past infantry troops in a foxhole as it opens the attack against Jap positions in the opposite side of the valley. The Manjima area is cleared by 18th May. Farther south, SBDs bomb Jap woodland positions at Kolgan Hill near Maramag, Mindanao Island. Corsairs drop napalms. The bombs fall within 75 to 100 yards of our forward troops. Before the air attacks, this was a thick jungle. The sorties are in support of the 31st Division pushing through Jap-infested territory for a junction with the 40th and Americal divisions along the Sayre Highway. The enemy dead shown here are part of 72 killed during a banzai charge. The joining of American forces near Male Bale marks the beginning of the mop-up of Japs compressed in Mindanao's northeast corner. The Army's first overseas educational institution, the University of the South Pacific, is operating successfully on New Caledonia. Students are primarily Army and Navy personnel. The university is housed in the headquarters building of the South Pacific Command. Directory signs aid students to find classrooms. A total of 26 courses are taught in the university. Attendance at the classes is high despite continual troop movements which force some students to leave before completing courses. College and high school courses are taught by a staff of 49 volunteer instructors. A trigonometry classroom. Classes are held 3 evenings a week. Offices, which in the daytime are headquarters for Army forces in the South Pacific, are converted into classrooms at night. A class in international economics. More than 1,000 students, including Army and Navy nurses, Red Cross girls, and New Zealand civilian employees, in addition to officers and enlisted men of the Army, Navy, and Marines, were enrolled in the courses when the experimental school opened its doors 16th April. Air Corps films of an Army Jeep, once ready to be scrapped, but rescued from the junk pile by 2 soldiers of the 9th Service Squadron on Morotai Island. The car was rebuilt with parts found in airplane scrap piles and other salvage materials. The engine was given a thorough overhauling. The streamlined hood is a section of a P-47 belly gas tank. The fenders were once P-38 belly tanks. The radiator grill is made of 50 caliber ammunition track. Bumpers are of aluminum Bombay braces. Doors are of aluminum sheet metal. Wind deflectors are plexiglass. The top is of canvas duck. This redesigned and reconstructed Jeep is now the most popular vehicle on the island. The The Japanese jail in Rangoon, from which 700 prisoners, including 39 Americans, were freed on 4th May. When the Japs evacuated Rangoon, many of the prisoners were taken on a 72-hour forced march to Pegu, 65 miles to the north. Those left behind were discovered and released by British troops entering Rangoon. Some of them had been kept in solitary confinement for over 13 months. The men are taken aboard hospital ships at the dock in Rangoon. Many are covered with filth sores brought about by a lack of washing facilities, and almost all show signs of undernourishment. Air Force men were kept on half rations and in general maltreated. Men of the 96th Division attacking Zebra Hill, an enemy strong point near the village of Shuri on the Jap line running from Naha to Yonabaru. Tanks advance in the face of heavy enemy fire. Artillery shells score direct hits on Japanese positions. Advancing troops are driven back along the side of the hill. Machine guns cover a section of the advance as troops work their way to the top of a nearby ridge flanking Zebra Hill. Intense enemy fire causes heavy casualties. On top of the ridge, the troops dig in and open fire on Japs defending the other side of the hill. Shelling Zebra Hill in the final blow to demolish the position. On 14th May, elements of the 10th Army open an all-out attack against the Naha-Yonabaru line. Flamethrowers in action against Chocolate Drop Hill, a strong point which has been holding up our advance for 5 days and inflicting heavy casualties. A 300-yard gain again wipes out the enemy position. Soldiers of the 77th Division, accompanied by a native, look for civilians reported hiding behind the front lines. The natives are discovered down deep wells in century-old caves dug about 30 feet below the surface and tunneled between a number of the wells. Altogether, about 150 persons are found hiding. They'd been below ground for 57 days. Many of them suffered from colds and sores and were infested with fleas. The cave ceilings are so low that many of the civilians could not stand upright. One of 2 babies born in the caves, the other baby born underground. The natives are taken to new quarters where they'll get clean clothes and medical care. Troops of the 77th Division cleaning out ridges bypassed in the capture of nearby Yonabaru. Snipers hiding in caves cause frequent casualties. Guns are set up to blast Jap positions which have been harassing supply lines in range of the bypassed hills. Tank destroyers are brought up to pound the caves. Tank flamethrowers burn out the last of the snipers. Men of the 77th Division moving up to the front. Lieutenant General Simon B. Buckner visits an observation post on the cracking Shuri line. The general confers with field officers after inspecting the battle lines. Ruins of the town of Yonabaru, eastern anchor of the Shuri line and second most important harbor in Okinawa. Naval bombardment and artillery fire on 22nd May almost completely leveled this east coast anchor of the Jap defense line stretching from Naha to Yonabaru. The town had a peacetime population of about 5,000. The railroad station. The depot for buses running between the nearby coastal towns. The smokestack served as an enemy observation post in this sugar mill north of Yona Baru. English and American machinery. Most main roads remain in fairly good condition despite rains and heavy traffic. A midnight rain floods tents of the 4124th Quartermaster Trucking Company. Water in some of the foxholes ranges from 4 to 8 feet deep. A jeep on a secondary road requires a bulldozer to get through. Because of the bad condition of this road, a bulldozer is kept available to keep traffic moving. The aftermath of a Jap suicide attack on Yontan airstrip. Striking in coordination with other enemy units in an 18-hour attack on 24th May, 13 sallies attempted to land on or near the airstrip gasoline and ammunition dumps. 6 were shot down by fighters, 5 by anti-aircraft fire. Most of the crews in the planes that landed were killed in the crashes or by aircraft personnel. Wounded Japs destroyed themselves with grenades. A number of our planes were set on fire. Additional Marine Corps films of the fighting before the ridges guarding Naha. Tanks blast Jap positions in the hills outside the city. Ancient hillside tombs are used by the enemy for last-ditch defenses. One of our tanks catches fire after receiving a direct hit. The tank crewman escapes through the turret. A tank retriever comes to the aid of the disabled tank. As the retriever works quickly to repair the tank, crewmen find it necessary to shield the vehicles by tossing out white phosphorus grenades. A curtain of white phosphorus screens the operation. Heavy and accurate enemy shell fire from artillery emplacements on the ridge tops has been effective against our armored units. As the enemy finds the range again, the repaired tank and tank retriever move off. Naha is hit from the air as rocket-firing planes support the attack. Heavy artillery barrage supports the tank and Marine infantry assault. A sugar mill smokestack is smashed by a direct hit. Telephoto lens shots show retreating Japs running for cover while trying to escape our machine gun fire. Heavy automatic fire brings down the fleeing Japs. Tanks used in the Naha attack continue to be equipped with extra tread wrapped around front and side for additional armor. 6th Division Marines move ahead against the city's outlying defenses. Armor leads the attack to destroy small houses still standing after our artillery and Navy gun bombardment. The houses afford cover for enemy forces committed to the city's defense. Following the tanks, troops close in to wipe out remaining Jap resistance. Elements of the 6th Marine Division capture western and eastern sections of Naha in a swift advance through the city 28th and 29th May.